Hi everyone, I'm Rincey and this is Rincey Reads. Today I'm going to be doing basically a goals update. We're halfway through the year, so I figured I would check in and do a little bit of an update about my reading goals that I set at the beginning of the year and talk about how I'm doing and whether or not I've abandoned any of them. Spoiler alert, I haven't really. Kind of. There's one that's I've adjusted. So I didn't set a whole bunch of like really large reading goals at the beginning of the year because it's gotten to the point where I know myself pretty well and I know in general like the type of reading I want to be doing. So I feel like I've set goals that are pretty realistic, although they are, you know, a little bit of a stretch for me. They do require a little bit of work for me. So the first goal that I set for myself was inspired by Andy from Estelle's Revenge, who started this read your own damn books movement. And so that was kind of my goal for the year. The specific points that I wanted to hit was to get my unread books to under 50. If I hit that early, then to try to reach under 30. If by some miracle I hit that early, I was going to see how I felt about a 0 TBR. So the way things are going so far, I currently have right around 58 books unread on my shelf, which I am very happy with. This has a lot to do with the fact that I've been picking up books, and if I'm not feeling them, then I just kind of get rid of them. Unless I really feel strongly like I'll come back to it at a later point. So I'll probably be continuing with that over the course of the year, so I feel like it's pretty likely that I'll get under 50 by the end of the year. Getting to under 30 doesn't seem quite as likely, just knowing myself, although I have limited myself that I'm not allowed to buy any more books until my birthday, so that'll definitely help with that. But again, I'm always tempted by like library books and audiobooks and things like that. Under 30 is probably going to be kind of like my stretch goal for the year. I don't think I want a 0 TBR. I think I kind of like the idea of always having at least like a handful of books that are unread on my shelf, so that way I'm never without an unread book. But again, that's all just like future planning that I can deal with when I get to that point. Right now, my goal is to get to under 50. My second goal was to try to read more international books, and the stat I was going to try to hit was to keep my outside of the US reading to be over 20% of my reading. This could be either works in translation or it could be just authors living in other countries who write in English. And currently I'm doing pretty well with that. I'm right around that point. I keep track of all of my reading stats in Google Docs, and Google Docs doesn't do a great job with their graphs of breaking things out. So I know that I'm currently sitting at around 70% of the books that I've read are written by authors from the United States. And so the other 30% is made up of the United Kingdom, Canada, and various other countries. If you've been following my channel all year, you know that I've been reading books by a whole lot of different authors and I've been really enjoying it. So I'm hoping to just continue that trend throughout the rest of this year and, you know, hopefully forever. The third thing that I wanted to do was to do the 2016 Read Harder Challenge. I've been slacking on this majorly. There's 24 challenges, and so that means you're doing basically 2 challenges a month. And I was either on target or ahead of schedule for the majority of the year, but I think in like May I sort of fell off the wagon, and I currently only have 9 done when I should be at 12 done. So basically I just need to like prioritize that a little bit better and pick books that would fit those challenges. It's just about, you know, picking those books up over other books and things like that. But again, that one wasn't like super high priority, that's why it's, you know, number 3 on my list. The fourth challenge that I had for myself was to reread 2 books. This is the one that I'm going to be adjusting. The first book that I wanted to reread was Emperor of All Maladies by Siddhartha Mukherjee, which I wanted to reread before The Gene came out, and The Gene came out in April or May, I want to say, and I already read The Gene, and so I know I'm not going to read The Emperor of All Maladies now. So I'm basically reworking this one, and the only book that I'm going to try to reread before the end of the year is The Well in the Mind by Jane Phillips. I moved it like off of my bookshelf onto my TBR shelf to sort of like remind me every time I look at that shelf that I need to reread that book at some point. I'm going to see if I can try to like work it into the booktubeathon or something as a way to motivate myself to reread it, but you know, we'll see what happens. But hopefully it's gonna be really sad if I don't reread this one book. Like, that shouldn't be that hard. Reread just a single book all year, Rincey. Do it. And the final challenge that I gave myself was to read Middlemarch. So I picked up this beautiful edition of Middlemarch earlier this year. It's the Penguin Classics Deluxe Edition. I love this edition so much. It has the little, you know, French flaps and deckled edges that like people really love. So this is going to be the book that I'm reading in August. If you've been with my channel for a while, you know that last year I read Moby Dick in August, and the year before that I read War and Peace with Jenny from Adultish Books over, I think it was July and August, or maybe August and September. So I've basically made it an annual thing that every August I will be picking a book that slightly intimidates me and working my way through it. So this year it's Middlemarch. I'm going to be coming up with a reading plan for this, but because everyone's going to have like different editions of this book since it is a classic, I try to do it based on like chapters or parts, and from what I can tell there's 9 parts in this book. Sorry, there's 8 parts in this book, not including a prelude and a finale. So there's basically like 10 parts to this book, so you have to read a little bit more than 2 parts per week, which seems doable, I think, hopefully. So if you're interested in reading Middlemarch with me, that will be a thing that I'm doing. If you have any suggestions on a hashtag that we can use, besides, you know, Middlemarch as the hashtag, definitely leave that down in the comments below. You guys came up with some really great ones for Moby Dick, so maybe someone who's read Middlemarch can provide some suggestions, either, you know, playing on marching or August or marching into August. I don't know, I'm really bad at hashtags, so don't expect anything great from me. In the past, I've mainly just used Twitter and Instagram as a way of like doing updates, and I kind of prefer that. So yeah, let me know down in the comments below if you are interested in reading Middlemarch with me next month. No matter what, I'll be reading it, but it always helps to have other people reading along to keep me motivated. I'll do a whole video about reading Middlemarch later on in the month that I'll have like the official schedule and just all of that information, so that way you guys can follow along and read along with me. Just some other things, I gave myself like the quote-unquote goal of reading 50 books on Goodreads. I said it in the past and I'm going to continue to say it. That is a pretty arbitrary number for me. I'm not actually looking to hit 50. If I read more, great. If I don't, that's fine. I kind of just always put 50 because 50 was a thing that I tried to hit when I was in college, and every year since college I've tried to read 50 books, and so some years I did it, but since booktube I've been hitting it no problem, and so that's not a thing I'm stressed out about. So yeah, that's just a quick little update on my reading goals for the year. I think I'm doing pretty well. Obviously I could be doing better in a couple of those goals, but I'm pretty happy with the way that my reading has been going so far this year. Again, if you are interested in reading Middlemarch along with me, feel free to leave that down in the comments below, or if you have any hashtag ideas, definitely leave that down in the comments below. Otherwise it's going to be something super lame because, again, I'm really bad at that. Or if you have any questions about any of the goals or anything that I've talked about in this video, definitely leave that down in the comments as well.